That's perfect. You want to be that guy?
What up, everybody? Welcome to the.
I caught it.
Welcome to DC TV. I have too many fucking channels. Welcome to DC TV. My name's Brad. That is Jaime. We got Coach Tamp. We got Greg Chick. We got Don Fron from the Don Fron Show. What up, my man? We have the futures right now that are starting to come back down. They were up around, that was up around 200 points. Has now worked its way back down. We have some PPI numbers that I'm going to be covering in just a moment. Crude oil has also worked its way back down below $90 per barrel on WTI crude. We also have Bitcoin that is down, threatening to break below that $19,000 mark. That's down 96 points at $19,083 per Bitcoin. And a lot of this movement down has been off of producer price index numbers that came out this morning. If you guys didn't catch those numbers, producer price index came in double what the expectations were. The expectation was 2.2%, and actually it was up 0.4%. PPI rose 8.5%, which was a slight deceleration from the 8.6% we saw in August. Excluding food and energy trade services, the index increased 0.4% for the month and 5.6% from a year ago. This is interesting. There's
so the increase, was it expected or was it?
No, I don't think people were expecting the increase. I think that most people were at least hoping for the decrease, but we haven't really seen that in producer price index. However, we are I won't say significantly lower. We're modestly lower than where we were in June, which is where we saw the peak of that inflation. So, a lot's going to be resting on, and we know that CPI numbers are way more influential in the markets than PPI is, but it still plays a huge factor. And we'll be seeing how CPI plays out tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be reacting to those numbers tomorrow at 9 a.m. here on DCTV. Before I get into anybody's comments and thoughts on this, I just want to encourage everybody to go check out our Discord. The link is in the chat. We'd love to have you guys hang out in there. It's absolutely free. Go ahead and click on that link that is in the chats, also in the top of the description. Come hang out with us at DCTV's Discord. It's absolutely free. So
that's where the action's happening. All the questions, everything else. Trying to build. That's where you go.
You only get us 1 hour a day here. If you want us 24/7, you got to go to Discord.
We're all in there, including quite a few of the chat.
So these PPI numbers, producer price index, is basically the supply chain, how much it's costing us year over year, higher than expected, but lower than what we saw back in June.
Okay. Beautiful. So tomorrow is the CPI, which is the recipients of the PPI.
Correct.
Kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. Learning quite a bit of tradition.
Later today, we got FOMC. No speech.
FOMC, yeah.
Only my wife calls me that, bro. All right, guys. It's awkward. Come on. What's going on?
You guys ready for this audio?
There it is.
Oh. Any texture to that one?
Oh, yeah. White Monster.
Oh, that's my favorite. That or the orange? I don't know. Orange, white.
Oh, orange is good.
Yeah, the orange.
I like.
Did you see there's a new orange one? Traditional black can orange M. It's like Orange Dream or Orange Dream Crush or something like that.
Oh,
I like the zeros though.
Yeah, that's all I drink. I just happened to. They had a whole stack of them, and they were getting ready to load them in the fridge. Like, well, that's new.
Let's go.
So,
Ian, what do you think? Do you like the previous version or this new version, or both the same? You could drink both.
Which one?
The new orange versus the old orange.
Oh, I didn't try the new orange.
Oh, okay.
No, last time I had something other than like probably the white. Sometimes I occasionally drink the green one. I was working on a Monster van. I was putting new like audio in and reupholstering the inside for him. And so he's like, he just drops off these 3 cases of that like blue and purple can.
Nice.
So I lived off those for a little bit. That's probably like shortly after like the white can came out, and it tastes like Fresca.
Oh,
Can't say it doesn't taste exactly like Fresca.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Refreshing.
But if I was ever to get off of Monster, I don't know if they are addictive or not. But I feel like someone would have to order me the white Monster can, put Fresca in there, let me drink that for 6 months, and then tell me, by the way, you haven't been drinking Monster. Like, and then I'd probably be successfully stopped. off, but that'd be it.
Do you think you'd rage?
I think I'd rage
Just a little bit.
No, there's actually like an awkward moment where I drink an energy drink. It's gonna go one of two ways. It's gonna be a rage moment, or I'm gonna be like just really, really happy. Like something's gonna pivot. It's gonna be soon. Typically, Tamp brings up an EV or Bitcoin at 12. At that point, that's probably what most of those rants are triggered off of. Is like the monster just hitting my system.
Stir the pot. What can you say?
Yeah. All right. So getting back to inflation.
Big week this week.
Yeah, it is a big week this week. So, the Fed's responded already to these inflation numbers with CPI and PPI, getting the interest rates up to 3%. In 3 weeks, they're expected to raise it another 0.75% to 3.75.
Do you think they'll go through with it?
If CPI comes in hot, I don't see how they don't. I really don't. And that's going to be terrible for stocks. For those of you who are long on stocks or heavily invested in retirement accounts, all that stuff's not going to do well if we see another high CPI print this coming.
What's expected?
Thursday.
What number?
That is a great question. I was not prepared for that question.
No, but it's good to know. That way we can place bets. All you betting people, all of us betting people, holding high, low, or on point.
The real question is how many times have they been on point?
Yeah.
Because the number's going to come out like where the number's already baked in. Like nothing's going to change this number now. Like it's delayed anyway. The question is, where's the expectations? Is expectations high, low? Like that's typically where they'll move the bar around.
Yeah.
Are you expecting any specific number, Don?
No, not really. I'm just going to sit back and watch. My money says I'm short, but I kind of think we're going to go up from this. More gut feeling, but like if you were to say put your money where your mouth is, like it's down. Like I got short positions, so sitting it.
Have they kicked in or not yet? Or you already?
Oh yeah, no, they're already up.
Okay.
I'm just trailing at this point.
Nice.
I would love it if I could just easily find this fucking number.
We'll find out tomorrow, though.
We'll find out tomorrow. God damn it. Why can't you just Google that number? I mean, everybody's
expected CPI.
Everybody wants to know when it is.
Yeah, just CPI expectations.
Yeah, that's what I typed in. It's not that simple. Everybody wants to throw you charts and talk about. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure that out. I'm sure somebody in the chat will tell us what it is. Okay. So there's inflation numbers. We're going to have those expectations on CPI tomorrow. Again, 8:30 p.m. or 8:30 a.m. tomorrow is when they'll be released. So we'll be live a half hour after the CPI numbers come out. And so Endo Crypto asks, can you all explain what are the positive and negatives for high or low CPI? So the positives for low CPI is that stocks will more than likely go up. The theory is that perhaps the Fed may think twice about raising 75 basis points. And so not only will stocks go up, but if CPI actually comes in low, Bitcoin will probably go up as well. The lower interest rates means that Bitcoin goes up. Why? Because the lower the interest rate, the more deflation it creates within the dollar will start to get weaker. Once the dollar gets weaker, Bitcoin will get stronger. And so
it's more disposable income available.
Correct. And so we'll see Bitcoin actually move up on a number like that, as stocks as well. So high CPI numbers is going to do exactly what you think it is. It's going to move stocks down. Bitcoin will probably come down because 75 basis points is still very much on the table, and they may continue to be hawkish going into 2023. And hawkish meaning the Fed.
Yes.
And so,
and now you have governments outside of the U.S. asking to lower the interest rate hike because of the effects it has in their economy.
Europe in particular, and chief economists in Germany last night just actually mentioned about how they are nearly 100% going into a recession in 2023. As far as Germany is concerned, I would imagine the rest of Europe would follow suit. We know the debacle that's been going on in the UK as well. So all that's going to trickle over to us. And so 2023 recession, Don and I have talked about this even before we were a part of DC TV about, recession in 23 being likely. And that was back in I mean, February, March, we had talked about that. And it's only continuing to look like that's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I think this year we feel it in the stock market, but most people day to day had no idea what a recession is, or like what it feels. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Next year is everyone's going to feel it in real life. Like right now, we just see it in charts. But like a stock is down, people are still going to work. Their drive to work is the same. They're not worried about layoffs. They hear about it in the news. But that's it. And I think next year is where the real trouble, where everyone feels it.
Now,
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if you guys experienced our grandparents. Well, I'm 50, but our grandparents were like, "Don't waste that. Don't you see the actual effects psychologically in people when you have a true recession or depression in this, if it's possible. So it will be an eye opener. I agree with you, Don.
So
That's
what do people
definitely-
do that are waiting on a pension? Do you recommend they just gut it out and work another year?
What other option do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'm asking is, it'd be terrible to cash it all out now.
Yeah, I
would
certainly wouldn't.
No.
Like, why? I would like, the part that sucks the most about a recession is the people that are forced into situations. Like my houses could drop 80%. Like I wouldn't notice, I wouldn't care, nothing would change. I mean, so I guess I would care, but my mortgage stays the same. Everything else stays the same, except a value that I have not been forced to deal with yet. Should they close the stock market down, that's that. Then I would have to sell those houses. At that point, it becomes a real situation. So if I could just not retire during this time, or not have to sell, you just float this thing right on by, and then hopefully we recover quicker than sooner than later.
The bloodletting, I see it on the retirees. I remember the last time there were huge layoffs with General Motors and all these companies. I think in the 90s or early. At that era, I remember just driving through Fort Myers, that whole region, and I saw people. I mean, everyone behind McDonald's was silverhead. I'm like, dude, I even asked one of them, what are you doing here? He says, bro, that tank my retirement fund. I have to come and work to do all my meds and everything else. It's like it does impact you, especially when you rely on that retirement fund for your day-to-day income. I think
there are already definitely a lot more elderly folks at grocery stores and fast food chains and whatnot. I see it a lot more around here than I have in the past, and it seems to be growing, especially after COVID.
Yeah, that's very telling on where we're headed.
It's just a nod to humanity too. It's just a good reminder that if you see, especially an elderly person working somewhere, be it at a convenience store, gas station, or anything in between, just be nice. Be nice to them. Odds are they're either trying to make ends meet, while they wait on their cash out, or like Don said, they're still working because they have to. They have no other choice. So, the recession sucks for everybody. There's no doubt about that. But for those who are relying on numbers being high so that they could live the rest of their life and start the chapter of, the last chapter of their life, if they're not allowed to do that, they're in a worse position than you. So just a reminder, be kind to those people because they don't want to be there. They have to in some shape.
The ones I've talked to, it's all been prescription costs more than anything at that age.
Healthcare of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all rowing together, guys.
Yep.
So let's row together.
Absolutely.
Be kind. It helps everybody. And it's a good reminder for myself. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Not the captains. We're just on the ship.
Yeah.
Playing the fiddle.
Okay. So that was our headline for the day. We have other news that's coming up regarding some news with cryptocurrency. The oldest bank in America bought Bitcoin, guys. That is going to be a big deal that we're going to be talking about later in the show. We also have Google selecting Coinbase to take cloud payments with cryptocurrencies. We're going to be discussing that in a little bit as well. But before we get into anything, we have our WTF moment of the day, our news of the day, and that is Texas Pete hot sauce isn't from fucking Texas.
North Carolina, baby.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea. And I use Texas Pete in Texas.
Here's the more fucked up part. You ready for this? There's a class action lawsuit against Texas Pete because of the fact that is advertised as Texas hot sauce and it's from North Carolina, but they're not being sued by North Carolina or anybody from North Carolina.
I know.
Or Texas.
Or Texas.
Yeah.
The guy from Los Angeles.
California. Oh, okay.
Of
Makes sense.
course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Weasel.
His feelings are worth millions of dollars because he's upset. He's been lied to and loves the hot sauce apparently, but now it's
does
not
he wear
from
a
Texas, so
cowboy
it
hat?
doesn't taste right.
Dude's got to wear a cowboy hat in California, and he probably tells people he's like from Texas. He's like, "Yeah, this is my
Exactly.
favorite sauce," and then just hurt his feelers.
I love me some Texas Pete hot sauce too. So here's the story. So Los Angeles resident Philip White filed a lawsuit in September in California Central District Court against the hot sauce producer, North Carolina-based Garner Food, alleging false advertising. He believed the brand was a Texas product. And so the lawsuit alleges the man believed the labels looked made it appear distinctly Texan, which it does.
He's gonna lose his case.
however-
Until it says at the bottom, made in, packaged in.
Yeah. It says the hot sauce originated in Winston-Salem barbecue in 1929. Here's a couple. So there's a lot of WTF moments in this whole story.
Yeah.
One is the guy who's suing it isn't even from Texas or North Carolina. Two, Texas Pete isn't from Texas. It's from North Carolina. And the whole origination from the name also doesn't make any sense. If you're from North Carolina is known for their barbecue.
Right.
And so like, why wouldn't you just like actually take pride in being in North Carolina and like make it North Carolina themed? Why'd you have to go after Texas? And Tamp's, proud Texan. So like, I would definitely want to get some more thoughts on this. But once I finish my thought here, the origination of this was going to be, or the name of Texas Pete was originally going to be Mexican Joe.
Right.
Garner decided that they were going to nix that because they wanted the name to actually be American. So then they decided to go with Texas. I just don't understand.
And get this, Louisiana style hot sauce.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fucking mixing there.
What is Texas Pete? What the hell?
I think it's more of a Texas style.
It's
No,
not.
it's a Louisiana style hot
Louisiana
sauce.
style.
Yeah.
It says verbatim, the
Cajun
complaint alleges Texas Pete, a Louisiana style hot sauce,
Yeah.
is a product of ingredients from sources outside of Texas. And the hot sauce producer admits that Texas's reputation was one they are trying to mimic and capitalize on.
But here's the thing.
This is like
fucking
owning a
America, though.
Ford Lightning and expecting it to tow shit.
No.
This guy probably doesn't know his iPhone's made in China.
Seriously.
This guy has no idea.
It's just so funny. Like you have a guy from LA mad that he can't get authentic Texas stuff. You're not even in Texas. It's a Louisiana-based hot sauce that was supposed to be called Mexican Joe by people made in North Carolina trying to be like Texas. I mean,
Louisiana style.
this is awesome. And now they're getting sued. This is like, this is just suing a melting pot. What are you?
I hope somebody maces that guy.
Seriously.
Here's your hot sauce.
What are we
Shut up, back in line.
French fries? We all know it ain't French at all. You ask a Frenchman, I've never done that. You
French
I
fries.
can't believe the French toast my wife made me this morning wasn't from fucking France. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Dude.
But this is the problem, though, is that once the precedent is set,
Yes.
here come the rest of the lawsuits. I mean, and Lord Finrear says it, people suing over, shitty hot sauce. Welcome to 2022. But and Texas actually falls into the district courts that California does. So that's what's funny is if this guy wins in LA, that precedent will roll over to Texas because we're under the same court system and on a more district level.
Isn't
So I'm
Texas
like, if
already
he
under?
wins,
Isn't
Huh?
Texas already under attack from California? Like
all
everyone's
the
already
time,
moved
yes,
from California. to Texas.
yes, yeah, and
Give
no
this
one
guy-
understands.
Just give
I
this
mean,
guy
we can-
stupid sauce.
Yeah, we could go all over the place, but you have like the mayor of New York freaking out because he got 1,800 immigrants dumped off on his lawn, and we're like, have you been to Texas or California for that matter? Like, this is an issue, and you're worried about 1,800. But that being said, like everybody is fleeing California for Texas, Austin
Yes.
specifically. And my only hope with that is that we go through one rock solid Texas summer and they all haul ass back west. Get out, get out.
As long as it's not north. I like being the spectator of this. Like in Kansas City, where no one wants to move. Like I get to make fun of both of it. I could not imagine get out of here with that.
I was trying to find out where Tabasco was from and what.
That's from Avery Island, Louisiana.
Exactly.
Louisiana. So that's what I was saying.
Avery Island.
Because Texas Pete's essentially the same shit.
It is.
Yeah.
It's peppers made with cayenne. I mean, it's a sauce with vinegar based with cayenne pepper. So cayenne peppers. That's a typical Louisiana sauce like Tabasco. So it is a Louisiana style sauce called Texas by people from North Carolina that people in LA are upset about.
I know. That's the bad part. Yeah. So true though, because like you can't call it champagne anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's just
Time.
let's sue people over that.
Dude, so now it's what other products are there out there?
I have a problem with
Scotch?
the lawyers that took on this case and the judge. If the judge approves this, I'd have a big problem with that. Like the judge needs to just sarcastically look at this guy and tell him get the hell out.
There is a certain element though of why is this still okay, Texas Pete? I'm not saying that they deserve to be sued over it, but like at what point we're like, hey guys, we're a Louisiana hot sauce company that's in North Carolina and we call ourselves Texas Pete. Should we change this?
No.
But
No, this is like the beauty of America. You can do whatever you want. If you as the consumer aren't, fully involved in where your products are from, then that's more your fault. You can't just eat whatever you want, use whatever you want, and then claim after the fact, I didn't know. That's why there's labels and 8 billion things on said labels to try to keep lawsuits like this one from occurring in the first place.
If they lied and said we're based out in Austin or our ingredients come from Austin or something like that, then yeah. But like this is like wearing a cowboy hat like up north. Like at this point, it doesn't even.
Do you guys remember those commercials of the dipping sauce where it says, and they're out in the woods somewhere or in the desert, and they're like, "This is some good sauce," and they're like, "Where's it made?" New York City.
Oh yeah, that's
Pace Picante.
Yeah.
New York City.
New York City. What the hell? So that's where but you see, they took it lightly. Like everyone loved the
Precedent set.
If you don't like it, just fucking go to goddamn Frank's Red Hot and put that shit on everything.
Yeah,
Frank's is good.
Let's come with the solution. All right, let's get a real hot sauce. Put it on there. Call it a day.
What is the real hot sauce? Is it Tabasco?
Yeah, or Frank's hot sauce.
Oh, like the real hot sauce?
Like to you, what is the real hot sauce? What's
homemade, bro?
No. Come on.
Yeah, see, he's not from the United States, so you can't.
And like Cholula, the iconic wooden cap, Cholua's unreal. Tabasco's classic. Texas Pete is classic, but the new badass is Truffs. If you haven't had Truffs yet, oh my God. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never had Texas Pete's, but
You've had Tabasco, you've had almost the same thing.
I've had the wood cap.
Yeah, Cholula.
But I just call that Tabasco. Like that's might as well be Tabasco. Like, it just goes on eggs and it tastes good.
And pizza and burgers and everything.
Wait till you find out that Cholula was not the one who made Cholula.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Here we go.
Actually never
Our education moment for the day.
No, we can't go down that rabbit hole. All right, so that was your WTF news of the day.
That was good. That was good.
Texas Pete isn't from Texas. It's Louisiana hot sauce from North Carolina.
I'll still use it.
Oh, well, yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Tabasco's better though. I don't know. It's not really.
This is the best eye drops.
All right.
Moving on.
So Google selects Coinbase to take cloud payments with cryptocurrencies and will use its custody tool. So this is big news, especially since, Coinbase has kind of been in the doghouse for a little bit, and then Google decides to tap them for these services. Google will start allowing a subset of customers to pay for cloud services with digital currencies next year. In addition, Google said it would explore using Coinbase Prime, a service for storing, trading cryptocurrencies. Coinbase will move some of its applications to Google's cloud from Amazon Web Services. And ladies and gentlemen, as depressed as cryptocurrencies are right now, I think that this, if there wasn't a strong case for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, then this is it.
Yes.
But with Google and Coinbase partnering together, this is a huge deal. And go ahead and tell us why, Jaime.
it's the time to buy, guys,
Yeah.
and Google gets it.
Right.
And but if you think about it, 2 years ago, in the previous, they were forbidding any advertisements on cryptos.
Yeah.
Now they themselves are going headlong into this, and Coinbase is not just with them. There's a few other trading firms that are using Coinbase's services for this. So it's a clear sign of they're buying now at the bottom of the market. Now's the time to pay attention.
So mining is one avenue, staking is another, right? Staking is more traditional data center equipment in a data center environment. You want redundant power, you want everything to ensure 100% uptime. So this makes complete sense for both parties involved. If they're a partnership and I can get a deal on my staking services, equipment needed for my staking services, it sounds like a win-win to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like to bring this up. I mean, I personally think the BNY Mellon story is a bigger story than this that we'll get into. But as far as the merger here is concerned, it says the cloud helps businesses diversify Google parent Alphabet away from advertising. And it now accounts for 9% of revenue, up from less than 6% 3 years ago, as it's expanding, faster.
And
So this is a move for Google to make money outside of just ads. They want to capitalize on those fees.
And that's the mechanism of mining.
Right.
It is passive income. So please understand that also, if you want to get into the industry, that's what makes a huge difference. So now you're seeing less ads, yet as a company, you're producing more, or you have passive income coming in that's pretty much guaranteed because you're securing the network and processing transactions for the network.
Yeah. So right now, I guess a lot of cryptocurrency companies, they use Amazon servers right now, cloud services. And now Google coming into that game, it's going to help diversify crypto as well, as far as DeFi protocols who want to use storage and Google's clouds now instead of just Amazon. So in this step one of this is basically just allowing some companies to pay for Google's cloud services in cryptocurrency. So it's step one. Right now, it's kind of like the crypto bro thing, where if you do crypto on Google, will allow you to pay in crypto, since that's how you make your money. But that's just step one. It will very quickly trickle down to the consumers.
And this is your Coinbase chart. Coinbase went off yesterday, naturally up 4.5%. It was a crazy day for Coinbase. Actually, it gapped up even higher than that pre-market yesterday, and then ended up selling all the way off, going red on the day, and then actually ended up closing up on this news, up 4.65%. It's down slightly today, but this is, I think, it's big for Google, but I think this is even bigger for Coinbase.
What's the lows on those candle bodies?
6503 on, this is the hourly chart. 6503.
Yeah,
on the
go
body.
to the candle body.
The body.
Oh, sorry, the body.
The fat part.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Thank you.
Keep your mouse there. You see what's going on?
65.75. Yeah.
75. There seemed to be like a little bit of a floor there. Somebody was buying it. So, I wonder how many people were buying because ahead of that.
Yes.
The biggest takeaway we didn't mention here is you have the biggest data company partnering with a crypto. Like that's huge as far as not involvement, but what's the word we're bringing in?
Partnering?
Regulation.
Not regulation.
Engagement.
It's gonna be the future. Like, what's that called?
Adoption.
Yes, adoption. There we go. As far as adoption goes, you have one of the biggest companies, the biggest data companies, that all they know is no human feelings. Just look at numbers. What's the data tell you? Finally saying, let's do this. Let's get into the crypto industry. I think that's a much bigger thing people aren't talking about. They talk about, oh, they partner with a crypto broker. The fact that even just happened is actually huge, I think.
Yep. And I'll add to that. I mean, you already have arguably crypto's largest lobbyist in Coinbase now joining with Google, who damn sure has their own lobbyists in DC, at a pivotal time in crypto when regulation is being unwound and formed. So this is huge for crypto regulation in terms of it not being as overreaching as we've seen bills presented thus far, which have been just insane. And
Google
again, we'll talk about it as well. But when BNY Mellon also gets in the game, which they have, This is some major lobbying that will be pro crypto. So yes, regulate it. All these big institutions need it regulated, but slow down on what you're doing, Biden and co. Slow down because you're overreaching right now. And this is a major story within crypto regulation as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I say, Google and Pelosi basically go hand in hand. There's just, you can actually see like, because it's public record, you can see the deals they have. Like they're never like against each other.
It's her and Google and her and Nvidia.
I don't know what she does with Nvidia. I know she bought their stock, but
She's been all over Nvidia for years.
does Nvidia pay her?
I don't know.
Oh,
But I know that she's been heavily involved with Nvidia. And you know, obviously
Yes,
she was over there with Thailand and that sort of thing. So yeah, semiconductors and data is definitely two things that she's been heavily involved in for quite a while. And naturally, I mean, we always talk about how politicians and they have their hands in anything and cronyism, but it actually kind of makes sense because she's in San Fran and Silicon Valley and all that. So it's not that far of a reach.
They are her constituents.
Yeah.
So they reach out to her.
Correct.
To influence legislation.
Right.
So, and this is huge because of everything we've mentioned. And also it's very good for decentralization, which is the principle of not having one entity or person in power that can influence the mechanisms below. So the fact that now Coinbase is moving some of their hosting from AWS to Google Cloud is a mechanism of decentralization. So that way, if AWS down the road ever says, screw it, get out of, or we're censoring everything to do, you have Google Cloud or you have other solutions like Azure from Microsoft. So the fact that it's spreading across all these platform developers, it's a great sign too. So everybody wins really in this.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal that you just mentioned, Jaime, and mainly because cryptocurrency is still new. And of course, those that have been in it for a couple of years, like us, screaming from the rooftops that everybody should own it. Part of that ownership and the ability to actually invest your money into cryptocurrencies comes with the research and learning that you get while trying to figure this whole space out. So as adoption for cryptocurrency is obviously inevitable, which is what we keep screaming, look at all these institutions, the banks, the data companies, the blah, 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 and, as all these things start to adopt cryptocurrency, when regulation comes in, certain cryptos are going to pose as though they're decentralized, although they're really not. They are centralized in digital form, and you won't necessarily be able to see that, or the person just getting into crypto will not be able to see the forest for the trees. They can be using a very centralized coin or whatever, like a CBDC is going to be extremely centralized, but they think, oh, because it's digital and it's crypto, I'm in the decentralized currency space. Part of what we're yelling about for people to learn is that when all these sheep go to a centralized crypto, thinking it is decentralized and sovereign, you will be able to see the forest for the trees. You will have the extra knowledge base starting today and moving into the future to see, man, I've been in this space a minute now. That doesn't look as decentralized as they're, purporting it to be. And you can make better decisions in our inevitable push toward a digital and crypto-based monetary system. So stay in there and keep learning. Yep.
The very principle of why you want decentralized is censorship resistant, meaning not one entity they cut the head off and now the rest of the body dies. Actually, you'd have to go to so many locations to shut it down. So that's the reason why decentralization matters.
To that end, we talk about smart money all the time, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies was kind of, you could make the argument, was originated from dumb money, meaning us. And now the smart money is finally starting to move in. People always talk about following the smart money, right? And now that there's some adoption going on with smart money, it's time to actually really make that call.
Yes.
With Bitcoin, cryptocurrency kind of being as depressed as it is, and we've can have this conversation as to whether or not it's the bottom. The fact of the matter is, at least in my opinion, is that even where it's at right now at 19,000, it's cheap. We can try to guess the bottom at 10,000 or 13,000 or whatever and try and get it for the bottom dollar, but it's still cheap, and it's going to be cheap compared to what it's going to be in 5 years. That's just, I think, the fact of the matter, the bottom line.
It is like, in the grand scheme of things, we are at the bottom. We're just trying to find that last base.
Candle wick.
Right. And it may never happen also. So, but the fact that now in the grand scheme of things, we are at one of the best prices possible for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're at the point where in the last, bear and bull cycle we went through, Bitcoin went from essentially $3,000 to $20,000 and retraced all the way back down. If you look, and if Bitcoin went from 20,000 all the way, let's say, back down to 3,000, would you have been mad today if you had bought that Bitcoin right at the $3,000 bottom, or maybe you bought a $5,000 that's still in the bottom, just not the very, very bottom? Would you be mad at that point if you bought a $5,000 Bitcoin versus a $3,000 Bitcoin today? And I think the answer is overwhelming no. We're in the exact same thing with different values.
Correct.
So understand that DCA, dollar cost averaging, or just putting a little bit, when you have it, instead of getting a cup of coffee, put the $5 toward the Bitcoin. You need to have something in it. You need to understand the space at the very, very least, because it is coming and inevitable. And you don't want to be on the tail end of that shoulda, woulda, coulda-ing it.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. And you did have Fidelity getting into the industry back in that previous bull market, but not major institutions like we're seeing today at the bottom of the market. Guys, the bottom of the market is in the worst, quote unquote, times you could be buying from a general dumb money perspective, is the time to be involved and awake to what's happening here, because this is the foundation they're laying for the future.
Speaking of smart money, that's a good segue into our next topic. We have BNY Mellon now getting into America's oldest bank, now getting into crypto. They're launching crypto services. And Tampa, if you want to pull up that article, the one that I have is kind of messy. I know that you had a different one. Or
this one I just have pulled up right now.
Okay. So yeah, this one looks a little bit better. So as you can see, they're getting into crypto as well. BNY Mellon, as I'd mentioned, is America's oldest bank, and for a bank that has seen it all, been through it all, now getting into crypto, this is a huge deal. And Tampa was kind of really passionate about this morning, and so I'll let you lead the conversation.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to bring up about this is, I mean, this bank is not only the oldest bank in America, it's the oldest bank in the world with $43 trillion in custody. Don't forget that there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So the market cap of this bank, this one US based bank alone, eclipses all of the Bitcoin in the world. So your time for accumulating one full Bitcoin is definitely, it's starting to squeeze. So that's why we're saying get in now. And the one thing I wanted to point out in this article was right here. It says, though Bitcoin has lost almost 60% of its value year to date, we, as in this bank, continue to see significant demand from institutional investors and are excited about the future opportunities from blockchain and tokenization technology for assets and cash. Okay, so look at that one of two ways. You can either look at that as BNY sees all these other banks starting to get into cryptocurrency, and they see themselves losing out on some of the money that they could be in by being out of the game, so that they're doing it for themselves. You can see it as that, which is probably partly true. Or you can see it as where they also talk about how some of the big institutional money that wants into the cryptocurrency game wants to do it with a familiar, trusted source, i.e. BNY Mellon. So you have players that you think are big, corporations that you think are big, wanting to get into cryptocurrency, screaming it from the rooftops, but they won't do it until a familiar source says, we got you. That source is BNY Mellon.
Yeah.
So you can look at it that way, that all these big, you think Google's big? Go to BNY Mellon. Google's looking to BNY Mellon to say, hey, can we custody this stuff? Can you guys custody this for us? Because we want in. And BNY is finally saying, yes, we can. There is no bank bigger than them. So I tend to look at it that way. And we keep saying institutional money is here, is here, is here. They're waiting on regulation. They're waiting on whatever. Baby, it is time. There is no bigger bank that just said, go ahead and go. Go ahead and make your money, Google. Go ahead and make your money, Johnson & Johnson. Go ahead and make your money, Ford. We got you now.
Yeah.
That's massive, guys.
Yeah.
It's a grand chess game, and these are the pieces. You're seeing the horse, you're seeing the queen, you're seeing the king being placed in a position to play, to checkmate the market. So watch that. And what that means is everything Tam just said. What is next? Regulation, guys. And the moment that beast is released, the Kraken is released, I'm telling you, you're going to see a huge change in the market.
Yep.
So the time to act is right now that everything's silent and they're creeping into the industry during this terrible downturn at this moment, which is normal for crypto, really, in the timing.
Yeah, and it's actually, if we look at the history of Bitcoin, which isn't very long, but there is history here. The average crypto winter lasts about, I think, a year, around 370 days. So I think we're right on the cusp of that.
Yep, November is usually the time frame if you look at it throughout Bitcoin's history.
Yes, and then you have the halving that'll be coming up in 2024, correct?
2024 March.
So also another potential indicator. So that's why I'm saying within the next 5 years, Bitcoin's going to be
at the next top.
Yeah, it's going to be massively higher than it is right now. So even if you're trying to wait for the bottom, okay, fine, cool, like play that game if you want. But at the end of the day, it's so cheap right here, it's not even funny.
Absolutely. Still do your own research. We're not telling you to go jump in.
Right.
Jump in because you understand.
These are my thoughts and my opinions.
Yes.
Yep. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I am dollar cost averaging personally. That is what I do. Every single Friday, I buy $50 worth of Bitcoin. That is what I personally do. And that is what I have done since 2017. Every single Sunday, $50 goes out of my savings account and into Bitcoin. That is what I personally am doing. That is how I personally dollar cost average into Bitcoin specifically.
Amazing.
Yep. It's good shit. That's all I had for.
Well, let's address Lord Fenrir's comment. Does he really think this blue zone's the bottom? 18.5?
I knew you couldn't let it go. You couldn't let it go.
Do it. Pull up your chart.
Don getting triggered. And just let.
No, I'm not getting triggered. Like,
good job, Lord.
No,
he thinks.
No. I think he's just fucking with you.
I think this is the bottom.
But pull it up.
I'm going to.
I mean, Don, if you don't mind, even you talked about how the sideways action that we're currently in, it maybe seems like we might not go legs down as far as we once thought even a month ago, right? That I do think another leg down is possible, but even I think you mentioned, man, this sideways action makes me think we're not going to dip quite as low as previously thought. I mean, is that correct still? Are you still in that mind frame, or is that changed?
No, I think a lot of people think that when it does go sideways, they start to think this is the bottom. Mine hasn't changed. I still think we're going to that purple zone
at the bottom.
The
bottom, because you guys have two purple zones.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's the bottom right here. Starts at 11.8. So.
And if you look at the Bitcoin bull last one in 2017, 2018, we came to a point where the market started trailing off and leveling off. But then it took a nice little shit way down. Right there. See how it just settled? It kept bouncing like a ball, and then boom, it did the capitulation that we're expecting. I'm expecting something similar, actually, to be honest.
Let me draw this out for you real quick. Tell me if you recognize it.
I mean, because
there it is.
Boom! Sorry, yeah.
Drop the mic, done.
As you're drawing that out, some of the reasons I would bring that up is because we don't have regulation yet. We don't have the institutional money playing the markets the way that the stock, the S&P, other traditional stock markets do. We don't have that in Bitcoin. So I don't trust trades on Bitcoin specifically, traders and charts on Bitcoin specifically because it is a little bit different than your traditional stocks. I think a lot of stuff does apply, no doubt, directly applies. But because it doesn't follow the same rules as traditional stocks in the market, you can't chart it and treat it as exactly the same.
Well, I think that's why
I do
institutions
differ on that one, by the way. Go ahead.
I know you do. I think
It's just time frame difference.
I think the institutions feel are in Tamp's camp though, because if that wasn't the case, then why would they? I mean, we're seeing more institutional activity in cryptocurrencies and in Bitcoin than we ever have.
Agreed.
And at these levels, if we see capitulation, I think that we might see more activity or what have you. But I think they're also like, this looks like this could be a bottom, but we're not sure. And rather than getting caught with our hands, our pants down, let's just do it now.
Oh, and to an institution, 20,000 is nothing. I mean, 18,000, 20,000. Do they really care between the difference of 17 and 20?
And please note, their moves are engaging, not necessarily they're saying they're buying. Not all of them.
I was going to say some of them are.
Some of them, yes, but that doesn't mean they don't have a war chest for in the event of a capitulation.
Good point.
So, but if you move to the higher time frames, Tamp, to answer your statement before, you will see that Bitcoin does follow technical analysis quite well. Like, you can actually see it on the dailies. I feel there's where the jerking around occurs. So the principles still apply. Like, and when you do actual chart, like Don just did on the bottom of the 2017, you can see the same formation occurring at this very moment on today's chart. So I believe personally that it will be a breakdown, not a break up.
But how much of this chart is based on the fact that Bitcoin is deflationary and user adoption is rising?
That's
when has that ever not been the case?
Correct.
Well, and right, but what I'm saying is you don't have a CEO, you don't have a board, you don't have a marketing budget, you don't have all these things in Bitcoin that other companies use to get their charts to look a certain way or do a certain thing or have to meet certain stockholder or shareholder standards. There are differences there. I'm not saying that Bitcoin cannot be charted. It absolutely can be. I just don't trust it the exact same way as you would a regulated traditional stock, because as Don says, we are still in the Wild West. Mm-hmm. We are not regulated. Bitcoin does not have a board that it has to answer to or anything of the sort. And I think you have to take that into account when it comes to the trading chart.
Yeah. Institutions don't own 80 to 90% of Bitcoin like some of your other traditional.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right. It's coming, but right now. That's why I don't wholly trust charts.
Well, you should trust what you hear on Facebook more on Bitcoin, because that's everybody that's in Bitcoin. And it's not to offend anybody, but the reason you've seen Head and Shoulders pan out and EMAs pan out on Bitcoin is because that's who's in it. Like I talked about the other day, who are your buyers and who are your sellers? It's retail. Yeah. People that think drawing a basic shape is going to do something. Like, you remember that little red and blue ball had the yellow shapes? You were a master at it when you were 2. Most of those can be found on charts, and people think that's how markets work. And until the institutions know that, and so they use it against everybody. But those are all your kids right now in Bitcoin. People that are trading crypto think that they follow all the basic stuff, which is probably why they've seen a lot more success in the crypto industry than they have in a traditional stock, because they don't know how that actually works. But all of that will go away when, or I can't say all of it, but yeah, when institutions are in this, then the game gets played differently.
Right. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I think that the people who trade Bitcoin, like you said, yes, are individuals that trade Bitcoin as a tiny little subset of the people who own Bitcoin and hold it. I think part of the reason you haven't seen Bitcoin dump completely is because the people who have been in this game since its inception back in 2009 have these tokens and are holding them. They're hodling them, right? That is what they're doing. And yes, you see a subset on top of that you were just talking about, Don, that do trade it. And they do try to trade it according to traditional market rules. So in that regard, yes, it does follow some traditional trading because you have people that trade it. But I think the biggest body of Bitcoin holders, albeit individuals, hold Bitcoin with no intention of trading or selling anytime soon. And that has to be taken into account to a degree.
It does. What's the word I'm looking for? Market cap. It essentially dries that up, or like share structure in the traditional world. Yeah, where if there's 100,000 shares, but everyone's holding 90,000, then that's cool. That you think there's 100,000 shares, but there's really only 10,000 being bounced around. So there definitely is some truth, which is actually why I wanted to ask Lord Finner, does he think this is the bottom? Because it is sideways enough. It's funny that there's this coincidence right here, because I didn't even know that until Jaime just brought it up. But even I'm curious, like, where is where's everyone's thought process? Because I did see the article of margin calls, a liquidity crisis, all that around the 15K mark. So it seems like if we do drop, and it does, Bill, and people do get margin called, they do have to sell positions, you have to liquidate. That's the writing on the wall, the spelling for that next drop. Like, it ticks down, hits that mark, and then they liquidate, and that's the quick, because everyone's got their choke point. Like right now, they're holding 20, they think it's fine. Like, I'll hold it here, I'm good. Hits 18, I'm out. So some people, we don't know where their order's at, or how close we are to that I'm done point.
Yep.
And the market maker's job is to find those those areas are called liquidity levels, where there's a lot of people that will release their precious Bitcoin because they're like, I can't take this going down below this number, and boom, they let it go, don't get back in. And that's where capitulation, the purpose of capitulation is literally go grab all the liquidity you can, get those lettuce hands, paper hands out of the way, and now you move to where the intention is, and you start profiting from the rise of it. So
right. And that's part of the reason why I said this bear market does feel different, because Don, I think you're right on, and Jaime just followed it up. There is so much DeFi protocol in cryptocurrency right now that mirrors traditional trading methods, liquidity pools, shorts, all this sort of stuff. Because of that, people's Bitcoin is getting liquidated if you put it on a Celsius or a 3AC or a Voyager or anything like that. And that right there, those people getting liquidated, and thus the price dropping down, as Don's talking about, that's why this one feels different, this bear market, because we haven't had that to the degree that it has hit this bear market in Bitcoin. We have not had that sort of DeFi liquidity pool and droppage any other bear market than this one. So it does feel different because of that.
And we've touched on it. So for everyone that's listening, why I'm in a win-win situation, same with TAMP. Like, if this is the bottom, I still buy it every week. It doesn't matter. It's just I'll own more for the same amount if I do get that leg down. And so if you're looking to get into this, or asking yourself, how should I do it? Why not have a plan like that? Attack it from both angles, and then you get your bases covered. The only way I'll get screwed is that they're like, well, we're shutting her down, boys. At that point, that would sting a little, but I think we're past that. So while we have these conversations and debates, because I'll always take the devil's advocate. I'll fight someone until we're blue in the face. But at the same time, I want to talk about where money's at. Follow that. I buy it every week, and I'll just buy more if it goes down there. Yep. And I'm not going to sing Tampa song because it's going to go 12,000 or 11.8.
You were right the first time. Even if it goes 11.8, that's fine.
All right, guys. This is a great show. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit the Discord link in the chat. It's also in the description if you can't find it there. We got birthdays. My man crush, Hugh Jackman, is 53 years old today.
Can't believe that.
I can't believe it. I know.
You see the stupid new video?
The what?
The one with
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They explain how, because Logan dies, so they were explaining that. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
They play the music.
Yeah, no, they play the music and they drown out the whole explanation.
Yes.
Movie actor Josh Hutcherson is 29. Tyler Blackburn, TV actor, is 35. Iris Apatow is 19 years old. And then we have none other than Lena Paul, who is oh shoot, I didn't do the math. 35, 25, 25, 26. I don't know.
No,
30, 31 years old. I had to do the math on that.
Yeah.
I had to do the math on that. She's 31 years old. She's a star of My Horny Stepsister, Hot and Sticky Poolside, Girls Kissing Girls, Eat It Out, and DP Me 6. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time to do it all over again. We hope that you guys join us in Discord as well, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, keep calm.
Have a good one.
Keep it real, guys.